One.
Hello, everybody. This is John Matheson again. I've come back to do number two, which is about how to learn. So, the first important consideration in learning is set and setting, to borrow an expression from Timothy Leary. Set and setting are your state of mind and where it is, the setting of where it is that you plan to learn. You really need to be in a place where you are not disturbed. And that means primarily not be disturbed by yourself, and secondarily, not being disturbed by any other people. Also, the third thing is not being disturbed by your desire to check your social media. So, if you have a problem with excessive checking of social media, you have to institute a discipline which say, for example, I'm only going to check my Facebook every hour. If an hour is too long, say half an hour. Half an hour is fine. So just say, I'm not going to check my Facebook for any less than half an hour. But really, once you start studying, you'll find yourself getting less concerned about that. And I assure you, all those people will be there. And the other benefit is that the longer you wait to go back to your social media, the more notifications you'll get. You'll have more fun when you're there. So your patience was a virtue, and you are rewarded by a better quality experience. So you're setting, you're in a quiet place, like I have. You're in a good state of mind. You're not being distracted by social media, and you're uh, ready to study. So, next thing you do is you decide, what do you want to study? Well, do you want to study classical mythology? Well, that's a good thing to do. Or do you want to study Renaissance Europe? Yeah, that's a good subject. Do you want to study the Psalms? Yeah, that's a good one. Or do you want to study the Holy Bible? Or you want to study the Chumash? That's another version of the Torah with tons and tons of rabbinic commentary in English. Just thousands of pages of it. And it's all in English as well as Hebrew, so don't worry, you can read it. And of course, there's another one that's really good to study. It's called the Grand Gaffio, which is a dictionary from Latin to French. And look how big it is. It's glorious. It has maps in it as well, which are very good. Normally, bookstores keep that one under lock and key. It's a luxury to have that, I'll tell you. But that's where you learn Latin because it translates it into French. And that's easy enough, isn't it? So you've got your book, and the next thing you do is you have your cards. Okay, you must use cards. Only way to do it. No papers, no text on the internet, nothing like that. You've got to use cards. Because even if your power goes off, you'll always have your cards. Right. So these ones here are part four of the Criminal Code of Canada. And it's all about administration of justice. So it's things like, when judges and politicians do crimes. Yeah, this is a really good one. It's also about escaping from jail. You could take part four of the Criminal Code of Canada, okay, and write novels about it. Yes. So if you want to write crime novels, read the Criminal Code of Canada. Oh, yes. There are things in there that you would not believe. Trust me on that one. So you have a card. And this one is big. It's huge. There's 900 cards in that one. So, or more, because some of them are multiple cards per one section. So you go on the internet and you find the government version of the Criminal Code of Canada, which is an official version. Right? Which is beautiful because if they amend something, it's immediately deleted from it, and you're getting the most current version. So you go on there and you look for section four, and it starts part four, which starts at section 118. So you get a card, and you go, okay, top left-hand corner, you have a code. Okay, and see Criminal Code of Canada. Okay, and that's part four, and that's see part four in Roman numerals, and then section 118. And I know I'm going to write more than one card about that one. So I've written in square brackets 1. Okay. So there we go. That's how you write the code on the top left-hand corner of the card. And then it's also a title if you want. You write definitions. And this title is that an evidence or statement means an assertion of fact, opinion, belief, or knowledge, whether material or not, and whether permissible or not, admissible or not. And in French, that's témoignage, déposition, ou déclaration. So it's any kind of evidence. So that's the first definition of this card, and I've got all of these other cards. Now you'll see, if you look at my thousands of cards, that they're all printed in block capitals. Okay, it's tedious, it's long, it's boring. However, I know I can read it again afterwards. Even if you have good handwriting, you should write them in block capitals. Okay, it's discipline, it's hard, but what it means is you can't use cheap little pens like this because they'll make your hands sore. You need at least a pen kind of like this because it's nice and round and it's got rubber on it and it doesn't hurt your thumb from continuous long-term use. So anyway, that is how to learn. Basically, have a book, get some cards. Now, you might have a book that has every sentence is relevant, like the criminal code, every sentence is relevant. You might have another book where it's sort of more philosophical and you're going to extract sentences out of the paragraphs, and you only need to write down a card for the paragraph, for the sentence that you extracted from the paragraph. And some books, there may only be one sentence. Oh, yeah. Other books, though, like the criminal code or the Bible or ancient classical works, like compendiums on mythology and textbooks on, the Renaissance or whatever you're interested in. That's what you do. And when you study a book that way and you write them all down like that, you will become an expert on that book. Oh, absolutely. Because then you'll actually be able to think of things in terms of that book. Yes, that's what's really interesting about it. If you really learn a book like that, because you go, oh yeah, that's like that and that and that and that and that, and then you can kind of discard it, right? Because I also know that is that, and so now you have a double reference, right? Which is, of course, Canadian Criminal Code is on the internet, so I write them out on cards. I didn't need to, however, I needed to because I needed to get the sense of them in my mind. And once you get the sense of something in your mind, you've kind of incorporated it into your mental state, and you can start looking at the world through all of this more imposed logic on your life. So that is the main thing about learning. And as far as truth is concerned, basically, you don't establish truth until you've had a hunch turn into a belief, turn into a suspicion, turn into a theory, turn into some evidence, and then judged to be facts, which then become the truth, so long as it isn't disproved somewhere else, but you've done a really good job of establishing it in the first place. And it's what you might call Spinoza's ladder of epistemology. When you've got just a hunch or a belief, it's a long, long way before you can establish that as a truth. If it's any kind of truth that I'm going to have any respect for at all. So, if you've got a document and it's been statistically proved that the information is correct, you've also got some kind of a chemical or logical pathway that explains why, your premises lead to a cure or a solution or whatever. That also has to accompany the document, or it's really not credible. The learning process is taking things and putting them in your mind. And your mind has an infinite capacity to take cards, information, and absorb them. And the more that you do that, the quicker it gets, and the more you decide what you want to learn and what you don't want to learn so that you can benefit in your life. Anyway, that is the first of the two in this series, Who I Am, Equity and Equality, Why Marxism Failed, and How to Learn. Anyway, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care now.